Hello and welcome back to video 2. Okay, so far we've got a very happy looking koala sitting on the site. Not much content apart from this is my koala. What we want to do is to optimize this post for web search. Ideally what we're aiming for is to try and get as much authoritative content onto the website as possible. So the best thing I can do here is go over to Google or a similar search engine, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a search now for koala, but using an authority site like Wikipedia. Okay, and there's the link, englishwikipedia.org. So click on that. Now this is very heavy text. I'm only using Wikipedia as an example here. What we can actually do is to copy some text that obviously describes the koala. We'll go back to our post. I'm going to come underneath now this image. Now position my cursor under the image, but I don't want to start writing there. I want to give myself a line space. I'll just press enter once or twice. Now I can either paste directly into the back end of the post, which I'll do here. So Control V has just taken the content from Wikipedia and it's put it into my site. All of these links though will link to wherever the original article linked to. What I would rather do is to just paste that text in plain format. So I'll hit Control Z, which takes that off. Now I've got two little icons here. I've got one which is paste as plain text, and I've got one which is paste from Word. If you want to keep the Word formatting intact, which is like line breaks, paragraph breaks, drop caps, stuff like that, that's ideal. If I just want pure text, which is the one that I use 99% of the time, I'll just click on Paste as Plain Text. Now clicking that brings me a little box up. I'll either use Control V on my keyboard or I can right click and paste into the box. And now I've got the exact same text but without the links. And I'm going to click on Insert. Now that's inserted exactly where my cursor was, and you can see none of the links are intact. Now I don't want to plagiarize other people's content, so what I'm going to do is to rewrite this. So where we have a phrase, the koala is an arboreal herbivorous marsupial native. I'm going to change that now so we can actually give ourselves a line space and say native to Australia. The koala is an arboreal herbivorous, and I'll just take the arboreal off as well. Herbivorous marsupial. I'm just going to drag that up there. And then I'm going to start correctly adding my capitals and lowercase. So native to Australia, comma, the koala, also known as that, is a herbivorous marsupial. Okay. So by doing that, I can now delete this, and you can see the sentences are completely different. Again, I don't want to plagiarize other people's content, and it's always best to write your own unique content. But there are times where you might look for inspiration on other websites. The best thing to do is not to copy exactly, because A, it's stealing, and B, you will get penalized by the search engines for doing this. So it is, instead of the only extant representative of the family, it is a member of the family. Okay, and we can carry on changing content. I don't really want to write too much about the koala here, but I just want to show you how that will look. Now, again, once I'm happy, I can actually click on preview. If you've done a lot of work on an article, it's very good to click on the Save Draft button. And by clicking on Save Draft, that also means that you can come back to this at any point in time as it stands, because WordPress actually makes backup copies for you. Okay, other things to remember before we publish it are the fact that we've got different categories here. Now, I'm looking down here, I don't see a category for koalas, so I might add a new category. So I've clicked on Add New Category. I'm going to call that Marsupial, or Marsupials. Now, I can select a parent category here, or I can just make it its own top level category. And I'll just make it its own. So I'll just click on Add New Category. And you can see immediately that we've got at the same level here in the tree, we've got marsupials, and I'll just untick Uncategorize, which is very often the default category for posts that don't belong to any category. Okay, so once again, Save Draft. Now I've got it into a category, and I'm going to preview how that looks on the website. And here it is now. So, happy koala, this is my koala, nice big photo, and then we've got a paragraph here. Now, if you wanted to make it look slightly different, what we can do is take a paragraph. I'm going to copy that. I'm actually going to paste it a couple of times and make what looks like a large paragraph here. Okay. Now, if I wanted that image to be positioned down here, I can, at this point, I can drag the image down so that it becomes centered just above that paragraph. But I can also click on the image itself, go to the little Edit Image icon, and now instead of centering, I'm going to justify this on the left. And you can see the little preview here shows you what the text will actually look like. It's going to wrap around that image. I could justify it right, and the text would wrap to the left of it. Okay, so stick with the left and do Update. Now it looks a little bit scrunched up here, but if I once again do Save Draft and then click on my preview and go to the tab that we're previewing in, there you go. Now you can see the text has wrapped around. The problem here is we couldn't actually get this word, because there's no space after the full stop, to fit into this area here. Now, a lot of people will actually get justification problems like this, so you have to experiment a little bit. Now, that image to actually be on the left-hand side is a little too large. So what we're going to do is go back to our post. We're going to click on the image. And we're going to use one of the corner handles to resize the image. Why don't we use the ones in the middle? Well, if you use the ones in the middle, you don't actually resize proportionately the image. You just, in this instance, you'd resize the height. In this instance, you'd resize the width. So what we're going to do is take the corner and we're going to grab it just by a single click, and we're going to shrink it down a bit. Now you'll see as we actually grab that, just below where the cursor is, we actually get an idea of the file size here in terms of height and width. So the width there is 250, which is going to be, on most templates, approximately half of the page. We can drop it a bit further, we can get it down to 200, 192 there, that's not too bad, and we can click on preview. We don't need to save a draft every time, it's just if you've done a lot of work. And that looks much nicer now. So we've got our image, the text is wrapping neatly around, and you can see there is a little bit of a margin just appearing around the outside of the image, just so that nothing is scrunched up too much. Okay, very quickly just going back to that. Once again, click on the image, edit the image. Let's see what it looks like on the right hand side at the same proportions, update and preview. And there you go, you might decide that looks a little bit neater. So you've got scope where to put the images. Okay, I'm going to finish this video here, and I'll see you over in video 3.